big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smart. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Troy Myers. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It's Hump Day. It's also the 6th day of December 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports and Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. XPMornings at gmail.com is the fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
How are we on this Wednesday?
Doing great. Yes.
Oh, that's a positive.
Excited for the weekend. Got a friends get together, so it's been a while since I've seen them.
It has been a while. Sorry, every time somebody says it's been a while, it's the first thing that comes into my mind. Is this like a holiday gathering, or is this just like, no, we're getting together because nobody's seen anybody in a while?
Mainly that. Birthday parties, and then my engagement. We haven't been able to get together for that, so to celebrate that.
Oh, wow. So you guys got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Very
It's going to
nice.
be fun.
Okay. All right. That'll be a good time. What's the plan?
I'm not really sure. I know we're going to a restaurant or meeting at a restaurant, and then after that, I'm not sure.
Interesting. A restaurant. What kind of a restaurant?
It's called Oh man, I can't remember the name. It's a taco place. Some new taco place downtown GR.
Okay, L something, the taco place. I can get down with
exactly.
that. All right. I can. I was following you. Once you said L, I had a pretty good idea of what direction we were going. And
I think it's like Condado or something like that.
oh, okay. Condado's is like a chain almost.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I got a
I've never
Condado's
heard
over
of
by
it.
my
Okay.
house. It's like right down the road.
All right.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, it's like a new age. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like you walk in, the restaurants have a very industrial feel.
Okay.
You know, chairs and tables and the flooring and ceiling, stuff like that. It's not like, you know, some Mexican restaurants that are like mom and pop.
Yeah.
That you get like, I don't know, different. There's another one that's right over by my house called La Fiesta. That is, it changed ownership. It was called El Camino, and the food is phenomenal. So I'm always a big fan of going there any chance we can get because I love that cuisine. So that's kind of that's at least where I'm at. That much is for certain. I love that stuff. So that's gonna be that's gonna be great, man.
Yeah.
That'll be a good time. How many people are getting together?
I have it's 4 high school friends and then their wives. So.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
this is the guys and the gals.
Yep.
Oh boy, margaritas are going to be flowing.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some cackling going on out there. Oh man, I love that. Well, that's fantastic, man. Congrats once again from all of us here at the Michigan Sports Network. Huh? Doesn't that sound nice?
Yes.
Yeah, nice little
Good.
ring to it, doesn't it? All right. Oh man, we got a lot going on. Last night, double header of Loserville, USA. Both the Spartans and Wolverines fell. Not an ideal Super Tuesday or whatever they're calling it. What I don't even think it has a name on Peacock. Like that's the thing. At least the ESPN games said, let's have a really cool sort of name to it. We don't have anything. We just Tuesday night. I just call it Big Ten Hoops After Dark. It was so late last night. My goodness, man. I didn't get home until like 12:15, 12:20, something around there. Just brutal. It's like, goodness gracious, only 3 more of these to do. And that's tip-offs that are 8 p.m. or later. We have 3 more. At home, we have like 5 or 6 more in total for the season, which I get if you're on the road and you're playing Minnesota, if you're playing Nebraska, if you're playing Illinois. But to be over here in the Eastern time zone tipping off at 9 o'clock, I'll never understand it. Ryan's already been through it multiple times with Michigan State. So it's just one of those, I don't know, one of those things, man. What are you gonna say? There's nothing you can do about it. That's all. It's all part of the gig, I suppose. All right, what is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Well, huge news. Tiger Woods is back. I don't know if you guys saw what was going on over the weekend, but the Hero World Challenge, he is back. And as he returns, Jon Rahm is on his way out, going to exit. Rambo joining the Live Tour. 450 million pounds is what the rumored offer is to be for Jon Rahm to join the Live Tour. So not good at all. Very, very sad. We've got the American Express tournament coming up. The world number 3 could be leaving the PGA for the Live Golf Tour. Rahm regularly played in the Amex in La Quinta, California, but his name was left off the list. Tom Kim, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantley, all there. But where is Jon Rahm? The Dodgers met with Shohei Ohtani for 2 to 3 hours at Dodger Stadium. They said a couple of days ago, becoming the first person to divulge the most basic information about this free agent chase. And I thought that Ohtani didn't want it to be public. That's what I thought, because, Ohtani, coming from where he's coming from, they don't need all the glitz and glam. They're not going to do the television series, The Decision. They're not going to, I need the attention, me. That's just culturally, that's just not the style there. I thought that's what Shohei wanted. So if the Dodgers come out and say that and blow this because they can't keep their mouth shut, that is hilarious. The Guardians won the MLB draft lottery, so congratulations to the Cleveland Guardians. They're going to pick first in the 2024 MLB amateur draft. The Guardians had just a 2% chance of earning the number one pick, beat out 8 other teams with better odds, including the A's, the Royals, and the Rockies, each of which had an 18.3% chance of getting the first pick. The Reds will pick second, followed up by Colorado, Oakland, the White Sox, Royals, Cards, Angels, Pittsburgh, and Washington. And you don't have to worry about when the Tigers pick because we're going to the playoffs this year. We're going to get into this NCAA proposed rule. Let schools and athletes enter NIL deals and minimum payments of schools for athletes. And it's just a total debacle. It's got people in my mentions arguing. I called college sports at communist. That got everybody fired up yesterday. Oh, boy. Ron DeSantis slammed the college football playoff, wants to sue over Florida State sub. Look, if Florida State did get snubbed, we don't need to sue. We don't need injunctions. We don't need any of that. Let's keep the lawyers out of this mess, shall we? The Detroit Red Wings, big 5-3 winners on the road over the Buffalo Sabres. More on that game coming up. The Indiana Hoosiers beat the Michigan Wolverines in Chrysler Center 78-75, and Michigan State fell at the Breslin to number 23 Wisconsin 70-57. We're going to step aside when we return. My conversation with the head ball coach Tricia Cullop about their big game later on this afternoon against Michigan. It's coming up next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer Spiral Sliced Ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in-store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. Golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team. Even though golf season's kind of come to a close, the good folks over at Tullymore Golf Resort still ready to welcome you with open arms, right? Here's the deal over at Tullymore Golf Resort. They, not only offer championship course, but wonderful accommodations and enough space and lodging to be able to cater to you, your partner, your foursome, up to 400 of your closest friends and family. So all you have to do is log on to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. Or you can call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. So, hey, shout out to Ryan for getting the audio and the video synced. That I know is a little bit of an issue, but it does sound like via the text messages I have received, and just word of running into people at different venues. Things seem to be going well. So we're going to hold off on the Cullip interview until 7:35. We'll get to John Wagner coming up at 6:35 this morning. Let's dive into the college hoops from last night. I'm not sure if Ryan wants to dial in to discuss, but I know that this was a season that I honestly did, and I got a lot of respect for Tom Izzo. I think that a lot of times when people get upset about Tom, they forget how much different it could be. And it really could be a lot different. But what is very, very interesting is a preseason number 4 in the nation. This team is now 4-4 after the 70-57 loss to Wisconsin. Wisconsin has won 3 straight at the Breslin for the first time in their program history. And Tom Izzo is 31-29 in his last 60 Big Ten games. He talked a lot about, hey, just blame me. Put the onus on me. We're not tough enough. It's fair to, for Michigan State fans to say, hey, look, we've already heard this before. We don't need to hear more of it. But now Michigan and Michigan State are the bottom 2 teams in the entire Big Ten. How about that? We went from the mecca of college hoops to this in a matter of 14 months. Ryan is there. Good morning, Ryan.
Yeah, good morning. That's what it is, right? What's so good about it, huh?
We're awake. We woke up. We're alive. That's a start.
Alive, maybe. Going through motions, sure. I mean, just love getting putting all your eggs in one basket. After your football coach becomes a sexual predator, you're just like, you know what? This team is supposed to be good this year, and no, they just pull the chair out from under you, and you're hey, we're returning 11 people. We have a top 5 recruiting class. Guess what? Most of them stink.
Wow, not stink.
Well, I mean, I have 8 games right now to confidently say this team's not good right now.
Is there in when they got off to a slow start, losing the first game of the season, most Michigan State fans on the internet seem pretty calm, like, we do this every year. Even you seem pretty calm about it. Have you broken the glass and hit the panic button yet?
I don't know what the panic button is because I've been a spoiled MSU basketball fan for 33 years.
Well, let me tell you, it is it's grim. I can tell you that much. And to be honest with you, since I started working at Michigan, I don't know what our overall record is, but our winning percentage has got to be 70%. I don't know if it was an entire season and change of not losing a home game. We never lost at home. It was such a foreign concept, right? And the home court advantage was so real, and you can see it. Now, last night, granted, it's a late start, so I don't know what I expect out of the crowd, but you can see some things pilfering off here a little bit. You can tell, you can feel the vibe. You can see some of the empty seats. It's okay, all right, this isn't good. This isn't good. So I can tell you, if things don't go well, it makes for a long, long winter.
Right. And a lot of this, too, is just it's these upperclassmen. Jaden Akins, 1 for 4 last night, 2 points, 1 rebound. Like, got to get him more involved. Madi Sissoko, you've been here for, it seems like, 8 years, and your defense hasn't gotten any better. You haven't developed a post move, and you can't grab a rebound firmly with 2 hands. What have you done? Like Carson Cooper, you're inserted into the starting lineup because Malik Hall has, 101 fever going into yesterday. And it's like you're getting blown by Wisconsin, who consistently moves the ball at 3 miles per hour. Like Malik Hall, I'm going to just give him a pass for yesterday. Like, you're sick. You attempted to play. Good for you. Like, I'm not complaining about a guy who was, sick all day with the flu attempting to play.
Flu game.
Like, you get a free pass. But it's like A.J. Hogar finally woke up, but it's like it all starts from the beginning of the game. In all 4 losses, they're down double digits within probably 5 minutes, and then they're spending all their energy trying to just get back into the game.
Yeah, going into the break down 11 is never easy. I don't care if you're at home or not. And I just what a wild whirlwind series of events here to see where we have gone. Where the state of Michigan was the center of college hoops for what felt like a little while. Like, both teams were good, both teams were top 25. The rivalry matchup was huge and important. There were tournament berths.
Both making nice long tournament runs.
Yeah, those are the days. Now look at us. Oh, my goodness. You guys are 4-4. We're 4-5. We're both 0-1 in conference play, and we're literally the bottom 2 teams in the Big Ten standings. Maryland could be there actually between us because, we have 5 losses, and Michigan State and Maryland both have 4. But Maryland's ahead because of alphabetical order. So it's just, that just is what it is. It's like it's bad. It's bad.
Well, was watching both games last night. At least when I'm watching Michigan, it at least looks like they're trying for all 40 minutes.
The first.
It may not be good trying, but I'm at least seeing a little energy from that team, throughout the entire game. When I have to sit here and question, well, why does this player just seem like he's moping or, not really doing anything? And it comes to Tom Izzo too. Like, we have to stop doing all right, let's waste 20 seconds. And then when there's 10 seconds left on the shot clock, let's just do a Tyson Walker high ball screen and let him do something.
Here, do something
for the defense. Yeah. What does that do for the defense? Hey, we can stand around and rest for 20 seconds and then just clog the middle.
Yeah. You saw the second half in my game. That was just brutal. The whistles were ready to go.
Those were weird whistles too. Great defense. They're calling little hand checks, and then someone gets pushed in the paint. Like, now we're good.
Well, forget about that. Don't worry about it. Doug McBuckets, his worst game shooting the basketball as a Wolverine in his young career, just 3 of 14, and one of those was a hook shot that was just no way that thing should have went in, and it actually dropped. If he hits a couple shots, they win the basketball game. It's just, it was the turnovers. Terrace Reed Jr., 4 turnovers, 5 points in 18 minutes. Just couldn't keep his hand. Did not look. I'm a big Terrace Reed fan too. He just did not look checked in. Thank God for Will Cheese coming off the bench. Yeah.
Before we hit the break, here's a fun stat. MSU at 4-4 matches the worst start for a preseason top 5 team in the last 40 years.
Oh, good for them. Historical start then. All right, we'll shift gears from college basketball to college football with John Wagner next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com. at MHSAA on Twitter and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now, as he does on Wednesday mornings, our good friend John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my good man, member of the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. How are you this morning? Has the dust settled at all? Do you feel more relaxed? What's going on over there? How you been? How was your weekend?
Oh, Anthony, if we would have talked Sunday, your head would have exploded. My head would have exploded. Now I'm calmer a little. I am still a little slice of heaven. But I can I start you off with a question?
Absolutely.
Remind me, if you would be so kind. Last year, at the end of the Lions season, in week 17, whatever it is, the final week of the regular season, they play Green Bay, they win, but they do not make the playoffs.
Correct.
What was your reaction to that? I mean, were you angry that they didn't make it? Angry that they were, even though they were the best team in the league at the time, they didn't get a chance? What was your reaction to that?
Well, Seattle had won earlier in the day. Who'd they beat on that day? Would they beat the LA
Doesn't
Rams?
matter. I remember.
Well, it absolutely does matter because Seattle beat us, and that's the reason that we didn't get in is because they won that football game, so we were eliminated. But we did have the opportunity to knock Green Bay out of the playoffs and end the year on a high note at 8-2. We did exactly that. That carried over immediately into this season, and through the first 3 quarters of the season, each quarter this team has gone 3-1. So we got a lot of good things to look forward to.
Stop! Don't care about this season. Remind me how you felt. Whatever that date was in January or late December.
Yeah, January.
When the Lions saw that, okay, duly noted. I do not follow the NFL. I watched the Lions this Thanksgiving. I'm done with them. I let them fool me again and think they're a good team. They're not. I'm stopping. But deep breath, John. Last year, when that last game was played, again, remind me, just in that moment, were you mad, or did you feel they had been victimized not getting in the playoffs? Were you sanguine? Did you realize, you know what, we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs and we're not? So what was your reaction? End of season.
I think my reaction was disappointed. I mean, because that's, you have the New York Giants who they went on the road and beat, and they got in because they had a tie. But, hey, a tie, not as good as a win, still not as bad as a loss. Just the way that things had shaken out, I was pretty happy with the overall outcome of the season. It would have been awesome to make the playoffs in year 2 for Dan Campbell, but I mean, you didn't make the playoffs because you didn't finish in the top 7, and that's what it takes. Win your division or the top three wild cards, and they fell short of that. So you live with the results and you build for next year.
Okay, and then by finishing in the top 7, that was determined by
overall record.
Yeah, thank you. I got it. I'm going to tell you that last Sunday was just one of the worst days in the history of college football.
I was working so hard right now to set you up because I thought you were going the other direction. So this is a massive – I thought fastball was coming. I look like Javi Baez at a curveball just now. I'm down on one knee. My ankle's twisted. The bat fell out of my hand. My helmet came off. Whoa. John, are you about to say what I think you're about to say? I'm sorry for interrupting you, but just so the listeners knew, I was trying to walk you down a path, and you went right where I was I'm floored right now. What are you about to say?
That in the one sport where the regular season meant everything, this year, the regular season apparently, judging by the committee's rankings of teams, apparently the breadth of a 14-week season means nothing. We're going to judge it based on, well, in my little eye, I think this team is better than that team, so I'm going to rank them here as opposed to there. Forget that one team is undefeated and another team has a loss. I don't care that they have a loss. I think they're better. So your reaction to that is?
My reaction to this has been all day long, all last night and all day throughout Sunday. Before, and I guess not all day because the show was on at noon. But I had Michigan 1, and I wouldn't have been mad if they would have put Washington at 1. Didn't matter to me. But 1 and 2 were Michigan and Washington. I had,
as they should be.
Yeah,
as they should be. And you're right. Whatever order, no argument.
That didn't matter to me. I had Florida State in firmly at number 3, and then I had Texas in at number 4. And what we saw from that committee on Sunday is a complete travesty. It is the sport of college football, in my opinion, has always been broken with the BCS and with voters and with a 4-team college football playoff when 130-plus teams are playing D1 football. The whole thing has always been a sham. You don't just get to pick and choose who is the best team. You have to go play for it. You could have been the best team all season. We saw with the New England Patriots. You weren't the best team on that day. And that's what makes championships special, is you have to be able to do it in the playoffs. We are a playoff-driven society here in the Western world. We love playoffs. The fact that this committee decided to put Alabama in at 4, Georgia at 6, and Florida State at 5, and leave the Florida State Seminoles an undefeated champion is just, it's absolutely preposterous. I mean, to me, there's no coming back from this.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I don't know how.
It goes against the history of the sport. I can't believe we're sitting in the same. We're in the same car, driving the same direction. This is absurd. This is absurd.
And I was so ready for you, John.
Texas,
I was so ready for you because I was like, okay, I'm going to bring up Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady, Cardale Jones being a third-string quarterback, winning it all. Like, I was, and then, you came in, swung that left hook. I'm like, yeah, we're in accordance here. Like, Florida State got screwed. And the fact that their quarterback, Jordan Travis, took to Twitter and said, I wish I would have broken my leg earlier in the season so everybody would know we were more than just one person. Like, what a pathetic excuse of football minds this committee is. Like, I mean, this is, what Florida State should do is they should go to the Orange Bowl, which is where they're supposed to go for Georgia, go to that, reap all the rewards of being there, take the trip, walk out for warm-ups, just like Danny Cannell said, and turn around and walk right back in and go right back home before the game even starts. Suck them dry of all the money they put into this. And be like, guess what? Double bird, we're out. We're out.
You'll get to pay all that money back if you don't play the game.
So what?
I understand the point of it, and Florida State could probably afford to do it. But here's what's bothering me.
Stick them, John.
Well, hey, everybody's got their own conscience. My point would be this. Everyone who's saying that Texas and Alabama are clearly better than Florida State, clearly, and I mean this clearly, have not watched the course of the season. Okay? If you remember early in the year, I thought that Florida State was a pretender. Okay? Because I had watched them struggle to beat Boston College, and I had watched them struggle to beat somebody else early in the year after they had started with a very big win over LSU. Okay? And I wondered, is the balloon going to burst? They could have very easily been beaten by Clemson. But they never were. They never were. Whereas Texas has got a head-on loss to Oklahoma and also has those other marring parts of their schedule. I mean, it's not as if Florida State was the only team that had other struggles during the season. Honest to God, Alabama should have lost to Auburn. How Auburn allowed a 4th and 20 completion in the end zone for a touchdown, that's absurd, okay? Alabama should have lost to Auburn. In the same way, in the overtime that Texas played at Kansas State could have very easily won that game. Instead of kicking an extra point and tying and sending it to another overtime, they went for 2. They didn't get it, so give credit to Texas for that play. But it would have been so easy for Kansas State to win that game. And if memory serves me, late in the game, I believe Kansas State missed a field goal that would have won it in regulation. So it's not as if we're going to pick Texas and Alabama, because outside of their one loss, man, they really were great all year. They were not. Alabama early in the year struggled with South Florida. Struggled. Hey, are they a better team now? Well, clearly. They beat Georgia. But over the course of their season, their entire 12-game schedule, did they clearly establish that they are the 4th best team in the country? The answer is absolutely not. In the same way, did Texas clearly establish they are the 3rd best team in the country? Clearly, they did not. They're not undefeated. Florida State is. Don't waste your time with that strength of schedule stuff, because it's the outcome. In college football, it's supposed to matter what you do on the field every Saturday you play a game. And for the first time in my memory, thanks to that stupid committee, it did not. It did not. I am crestfallen for that. I can't tell you how badly I felt on Sunday to see college football go that direction of the NFL and all these other leagues where the regular season means little to nothing and it's all about the playoffs. It hurt me. And I'm going to tell you, if Jim Leland would not have been elected to the Hall of Fame, Sunday night would have been an ugly night for me. Ugly.
John, how does the NFL catch a stray here? That to me, I mean, we'll argue this to the cows come home, right? And my whole purpose in bringing this up is that, one, the sport of college football is oversaturated. If not everybody has a chance, there's no point in everybody playing D1 football. We got to quit, putting on our little kids, our powder puff gloves here, and we got to just be honest about it, right? And it's like, okay, well, next year, the highest ranked group of 5. So next year, we're going right back to the same thing, the same exact thing. It's like, well, we're going to vote on who's going to be the highest ranked group of 5. Why not let all group of 5 teams, if you win your conference championship, you get in? Like, you could just make it like the NCAA tournament. There's 10 spots right there. Oh, and by the way, our new plan for next year's 12-team expanded playoff is already botched because it's the Power 5. Where in the hell is the 5th conference? The Pac-12 dissolved in the middle of the night. And then Greg Sankey is going, oh, the Alliance is the reason. Oh, shut up. The Alliance only happened because you guys were backdoor in the middle of the night stealing Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12 and trying to ruin that conference. Like, the SEC, to me, is the Antichrist. And the fact that this committee is on their knees regularly for that conference is pathetic. They suck, John.
I'm not going to tell you that college football is perfect. I'm not going to tell you that, okay? The biggest difference between you and I, Anthony, you keep telling me the NFL is perfect, and it is clearly not. It is flawed in a number of ways. One of the most obvious way is their overtime. Their overtime is silly.
Best overtime in sports. Best overtime in sports. Best overtime in sports.
Another time. Here's the thing. My point is this. College football used to be about what did you earn? What did you earn? And this year, for the first time, it's how did you look? How did you look? Not what did you earn.
It's a beauty pageant.
The regular season in college football means more than any other sport, or it used to, put it this way, I need to edit myself. It used to mean more than any other sport. You do or die with the regular season. This committee has just now officially decided that's no longer the case. That is as hurtful, if not more hurtful, than all this conference realignment stuff. And college football is a great game. It's doing that realignment stuff, in my opinion, and I may be wrong, and time will tell if I'm right or wrong. I think that's going to ruin other sports more than it is football. I think football is going to survive that just fine. I could be wrong. We'll find out.
I mean, as they should. They're the water carriers.
It doesn't now matter what you do in the regular season. It's how you look. And apparently, for Alabama, it's how you looked in your championship game. Even your regular season finale is whisked aside, which is absurd.
And reminder, Alabama barely beat Arkansas at home. They won 24-21 at home mid-season. But, we puffed up Tennessee, and LSU was always up there, and Ole Miss. And
they're better now, Anthony. They're better now.
Ooh, Alabama?
I mean, that's why, they're better now. They beat Georgia. They're a better team. That's why I brought up the Lions to start this. Last year, the Lions were a really good team in Week 17, weren't they?
They were.
Really good team.
Yep.
But they hadn't earned a spot in the playoffs. They didn't get it. Alabama and Texas did not earn spots in the playoffs and were handed them. Shame on you, committee. Shame on you.
Wait, why does Texas not deserve to get in?
Because they have a loss during the regular season to Oklahoma. They also did not look great against Kansas.
Okay,
State.
so you put Florida Florida State in.
There's got to be a one-loss team. So yeah,
right. Okay.
Let me say it this way: Texas in front of Florida State is the miscarriage of justice. How about that?
Okay, that's fair. Now we got to go, but I do want to leave you with this and something to ponder over for next week, because we have brought in a little bit of the realignment discussion here. Shout out to Jim Leland as well. The bottom 75% of the Big Ten throughout the rest of my lifetime will never play in a Big Ten championship football game. I'll leave you with that to ponder, and we'll talk about it next week. His name, John Wagner. Find him on Twitter, John Wagner Media. I can't believe we agreed on this. NFL's king, best league ever, best overtime, best rules, best criteria. We all know how you get into the playoffs. It's fantastic. John loves it too. Thank you, John.
Anthony, we did not agree on that. We only agreed that college football screwed up this week. I hope you and your listeners are able to have a cool, calm, and collected week.
We'll step aside. Back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Dad, Deck your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa Bucks will save you plenty.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all!
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get your groove on. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Robin Thicke. Same show, same night, Montel Jordan. Tickets start at $53. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Party hard. Slide into smooth. Robin Thicke and Montel Jordan. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It is the 6th day of December 2023. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000 or hit us up on the Meijer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. That's where we find Bob from Waters on the line. Wants to talk a little Lions football. Good morning, Bob. How are you, my friend?
We're doing good, Anthony. How are you doing?
Oh, life is good, partner. I've got no complaints. You know what? No one has called me Anthony since my parents have is a group that we used to go on vacation with as young people, and actually they just had a Christmas party a few weeks ago. They always do it the week before. It's like a holiday party, the week before Thanksgiving. And my parents, one of their really good friends, always used to call me that. So I appreciate that.
All right. Well, you know, it's 7 o'clock. I want to rock. I want to talk about the black and blue division. I'm really looking forward to the Lions going to Chicago, playing outdoors in this weather. For a long time, I've said the Lions will never be good till they move back outdoors, and they ain't never moving back outdoors.
Hell no! What, Bob? Bob, why do you want to go outdoors? Hey, the thing about people are always like, "What do you like? What's your favorite team?" And I said, "Well, football is my favorite sport. So the best team, my favorite team that I work for, is the Lions." And they're like, "Really, over Michigan?" And I'm like, "Well, there's one thing I can guarantee you about Ford Field. It's always going to be about 70 degrees and sunny in there. I don't have to worry about the elements, Bob. I guess I'm just soft. I don't know."
Well, elements never forget. I saw the Lions play the Rams in Tiger Stadium of the year we traded Roger Brown for Billy Munson, and it was before they invented snowmobile boots, but football is an outdoor sport. It's not mall ball, but
mall ball. Wow, I like that. That's good, mall ball.
But I tell you, Dan Campbell changed everything. I'm behind the Lions. I just watched the NFL highlights on YouTube of the last game, and holy moly, what a barn burner. We almost kept the other team in it, but our play calling was great. Double reverse to Jameson Williams. But we got to strike this year. We have so many good players that other people would be happy to make them rich as free agents. So we got to take it this year. But what I like is, you see Chicago just knocked off Minnesota. Minnesota had a little streak. I like Josh Dobbs. Green Bay beat us. The black and blue division is coming back. I look at Jordan Love and look at his eyes on the close-ups. Man, he's not a gunslinger. He's a gunfighter. That guy's got ice water in his veins. And Fields in Chicago, I've seen him the last couple of Lions games. We've won, but he'd do things like throw laser beams for passes and every once in a while run for 68 yards. This is going to be a fun game. I am very nervous about it, but I'm be happy to watch the Lions win.
No doubt about it. And I think that the NFC North, so many people talked about it in the preseason about how the division wasn't going to be any good, right? Well, all of a sudden, Jordan Love and company, they look like they've got some things together the last couple of weeks. I mean, beating Kansas City at home in Lambeau, that's anytime you can beat the Chiefs, that's always big. The Chiefs got to find somebody to catch the football. I mean, you think about Tyreek Hill leaving Kansas City, what a disastrous move. The fact they let him walk out the door changes everything. I mean, the Chiefs right now are 8-4 in Green Bay. They might have, it's interesting about the NFL. In a month-to-month league, right? That's why you break the league down into quarters of the season. it seems like teams go through these ebbs and flows. We watched San Francisco drop 3 in a row, and Brock Purdy's not the guy, and the team's a mess. Injuries happen, right? Things happen. Philly just got their doors blown off by San Francisco. The Lions, they finished every quarter of the season at 3-1. My biggest concern for them is that we really, outside of the Chiefs, we haven't really beat a team of major substance. And Thanksgiving Day, we looked exhausted. Our offensive line couldn't block anybody, and that's so rare for us to say that with how good that unit has been, even though they just can't stay healthy. But you look at the NFC North, the Josh Dobbs, it was a fun story while it lasted. It got him in a good spot. But Detroit right now has 3 out of the 7 spots in the playoffs if they were to start today, with the Lions at 3, the Vikings at 6, and the Packers at 7. That's a pretty darn good showing for a division that everybody thought was just going to get rolled over, and it was going to be the Lions in a runaway.
Oh, yeah. But there's a couple of things, Josh Dobbs had 8 starts in Arizona. He's got game time. He knocked off the Cowboys and the Green Bay. Do you know that 12 of their last 13 number 1 picks was defense? That's why we couldn't block them. They're good.
They are good. There is no doubt about that. They definitely Rashawn Gary was an absolute. He was just treacherous. There's nothing really I could say. Here you go for the playoff scenarios in case you're wondering. All right, the Lions clinched the wild card spot with 2 wins and 1 Seattle loss. So that's all they need on the way out is 2 wins and a Seattle loss, and they'll be in the wild card for sure. They get the division and the number 3 seed minimum with 2 out of 3 against either the Bears, Vikings, or 3+ wins, beat Dallas, Denver, and 1 NFC North opponent. So that's what we're looking at for them to clinch the division. And still, the number 1 and number 2 seeds are still available. Like the San Francisco beating Philadelphia. I watch a lot of these national shows, and no one's talking about the Lions sitting there at 3. It's like they skip over the Lions and go straight to the Cowboys. And yes, I realize that Dallas is playing some good football right now. But the Eagles' defense, although the schedules are different, they've given up more yards than the Lions, more passing yards than the Lions, and more points per game. And the fact that we couldn't get off the field on 3rd down, giving up a couple of huge 3rd down conversions for the Saints, that game could have looked a lot different. They just want to stress us out a little bit, Bob. That's what it is.
But it's good football. The Saints are a good team. Almost every team is very good. If you watch the game films, it's a anybody can be anybody league, and that's what I like. I like the battle, and that's why I like the way Dan Campbell gets a team ready, and his GM, I can't think of his name right now.
Brad Holmes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say his offensive coordinator.
Oh, Ben Johnson.
Yeah, he's a play caller. He dials them up, and but the other teams are so good, they stay close with us. But the Lions have so much talent, they pull it off. That's why we got to win before all this talent goes to free agency, like Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins.
Well, the good news is I think that if the guys will probably, and I'll never blame somebody for exploring their options. If you have a great opportunity, to take a gig that's going to pay you a little bit more, or sometimes you might take a gig that might pay you a little bit less because the opportunity is there. I don't blame a guy for picking up the phone and having his agent work the numbers a little bit, but I do believe that the core of this team, I think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, with what they've built here, whether or not Ben Johnson stays or if this is the year where he gets poached and becomes a head coach somewhere else, I think that core group is going to want to stay together. I do worry a little bit about Aiden Hutchinson just because he's got a little bit of that I don't want to call it an ego, but he does have a little bit of that, hey, he's got his own brands, stuff like that. He's just kind of, he's out in front in the public space. I think he'll probably be the one that wants to command the most dollars. But guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, our 4 rookies this year, that Brad Holmes has done such a good job. This injury to Aleem McNeil isn't great because, remember, he was, the third pick in Brad Holmes' first class. So, but I think we might be able to get some hometown discounts and try to keep the core group intact as the salary cap increases. Bob from Waters, I appreciate the phone call, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, see you.
Adios, partner. How bad would it be for the organization if the Rams came here and beat the Lions in the first playoff game that they ever met, or they met? Love is a bum. LOL. Love hurts. I can tell you that much. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer spiral sliced ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Golf season coming to a close, or has at least come to a close. Most of the great state of Michigan, the golf mecca, if you will. But the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort Canadian Lakes is still opening their doors for whatever you may have that isn't golf-related. It's much more than just 2 championship courses in Tullymore and St. Ives. Located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are traveling from. Just about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Stop by and check out their top-line accommodations and the perfect space for your wedding, event, reception, group outing, corporate outing, whatever it may be. TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort today. Call Matt Golden and tell him that we sent you. All right, so college basketball might not have been great last night for our 2 teams, Michigan and Michigan State, depending on what time or what side of the fence you're on. By the way, my good Balkan brother Br0's is just trying to send me. He's just trying to send me up the rails. I did not expect Mirza to troll me on Twitter. I thought that we were closer than that, but apparently he has gone that direction. He has gone that direction. He, after Ronald wanted to know how many Big Ten championships occurred when they weren't wearing leather helmets, I just came up with an arbitrary year and said 1970. Right? We've got the NFL and pretty close to its modern form. The NBA is up and kicking. Okay, all right. There were some things there that we could kind of base this off of, and I am just shocked to see what Mirza has been saying now on the interwebs. It's just like, look, man, 23 Big Ten championships since 1970 is pretty good. I mean, there's been anywhere between 12 and 14 teams in the league, for God's sakes. You got 23 since 1970. I feel good about that. I don't know if anybody else feels good about that. Because if we do the quick math here, we're talking about a span of 53 years. That's not too shabby. I mean, we're talking about percentages here. You're winning the Big Ten more than 40% of the time. That's pretty good. At least by my I don't know what your standards are, but that's pretty good by mine. So the basketball teams didn't do well last night. We might be number 1 in the country in football, and even that's debatable. We are definitely not number 1 in the country in basketball. I was shocked that if Doug McBuckets hits a shot or two, they're in good shape. But I mean, Indiana's just that's a big team. That is a big team. Boy, Mike Woodson is funny too. But while all that was going on, the Detroit Red Wings were on the road against the Buffalo Sabres to kick off their first of 4 against Buffalo in a Atlantic Divisional matchup. I still think with the renaming and realignment of the divisions, I don't know if the NHL necessarily did a great job of, because if I said the Atlantic Division, do you even know who's in it? Like, why is Detroit in the Atlantic Division? With 32 teams, should we have gone with smaller divisions and mimicked what we have in the NFL? Should we have gone to 4 divisions of 4? I mean, I think so, just from a traveling standpoint. You could have, I don't know. That's me. That's probably the route I would have went to instead of doing the 4 divisions of 8. I would have went 8 divisions of 4. A little bit, a lot of emphasis on your division, winning your division, getting a playoff berth. It's just such a good model. And I know that with the Saints that people, they're going to be bothered, or if it's the Falcons or the Buccaneers or whoever comes out of the South. People, there's always going to be one division that's a little bit weaker than the rest, but you do your job. You take care of your division, and you get into the playoffs, and then once you're in, you're in. Anything can happen. But the Detroit Red Wings pick up their 14th victory of the season. They're now 14-7-3, also known as 14-10, but at least with the 3 overtime or shootout losses, you're able to pick up a point. They currently sit in the Atlantic Division in 2nd place, 6 points behind the Boston Bruins. They have taken 2 out of their 3 matchups, the most recent 2 out of the 3 matchups against the Bruins. So that is good. They have a 1-point edge over Florida right now, who has played the exact same amount of games. And at 24 games played, you got to be feeling pretty good if you're a Red Wings fan. I mean, it looks pretty good. You take on a team like Buffalo, you're 6-1 since the trip to Sweden, and you're supposed to beat Buffalo. That's exactly what they did. They handled them nicely, and it all got started with the captain. What a tumultuous week he has had, the poor guy. If you didn't know, he and his wife lost their child. He posted about it in the pregnancy struggle there on Instagram, and just a really tough week for him. But he's back with the team, and he had a good night the other night, and then last night against Buffalo on the road, got the Red Wings started off the right way.
It's Samuelson. Raymond's also in there. Puck still in play. Larkin shot. Score! Holy shnikes, what a shot from Larkin. That puck might have been airborne when he ripped it. It looks like as this puck comes around.
I'm telling you what, that was he was in Ovechkin's office right there, left circle, feeling good about it. And he got his stick on that one, glove side, top shelf, socks and undies, where mom hides the Thin Mints, right? And that was just perfect. So he does that 340 into it too. You're feeling really good about it. And then Robbie Fabry, by the way, Larkin from Lucas Raymond, Larkin's 9th goal of the season, Raymond's 12th assist of the year. Robbie Fabry, will get into it from David Perron and Andrew Kopp just 5 minutes later.
David Perron back to Shane Gostisbehere, looking for a lane. He can rip it. So can Perron. Passes down low. Pass in front. It's loose. Score! Robbie Fabry, knocked down earlier, gets back up and gets his 8th goal of the year in just his 12th game. And once again, the Sabres are down 2-0.
So pretty good, by the way, as you could probably tell, John Buccigross in the call. You go into the first intermission, up 2-0. You were dominating the faceoff dot, 71% to 29%. You feel good. You're a little bit more physical. You got some more hits in there. And then it's like, okay, this is all fine and dandy. They're going to get on the power play here in the second period. Mo Sider's going to get his 4th goal of the year from Fabry. That would be his 3rd assist. Alex DeBrincat's 11th assist. Mo Sider with an absolute laser beam.
DeBrincat, Fabry's open. Fabry can't find a lane. Sider fires and scores!
Moritz Sider with a blast coming in, off the blue line and just ripping it, and that is just such a good goal. So it's 3-0 now at this point. We're still in the second period. We're at about the 13.5-minute mark, and that's where Michael Rasmussen will hop in too. He said, "If you could do it, I want it too."
Buffalo into turnovers. He's done a good job after taking that lead. Little line juggling there. Here comes Rasmussen. Score! Michael Rasmussen
on the goal there. So it's 4-0 Red Wings through 2 periods of play. That was his 3rd from Petrie and Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere's 14th assist of the year. And then Dylan Larkin would close up shop with an empty netter, his 2nd of the game, 10th of the season. Rasmussen would get in on the assist. Red Wings walk away 5-3 winners. They did give up 3 goals. Rasmus Dahlin got in on the mix for Buffalo there at the end of the second period, and then they got goals 2 and 3 midway through. It was 4-3, and then Larkin with the empty netter to make it look a little bit better. But the Wings win, and I want to special mention out to Alex Lyon as well in between the pipes. He's been pretty solid, 32 shots he faced, made 29 saves, allowed 3 goals. His save percentage right about 90.6% at this point. So he's been, Lyon's been kind of he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good so far in a wing sweater, and pleasantly surprised with him, no doubt about it. So the Red Wings are now holding serve for this city that's going to absolutely need something post-Lions, because it ain't going to be the Pistons, and Michigan and Michigan State are fading fast right now. Your team leader in points, Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat, are tied at 24 points apiece. DeBrincat, the team leader in goals, with 13, and Larkin up there in the team lead in assists right now, 14 with Shane Gostisbehere. We'll step aside. When we return, we got a big-time matchup in the Glass City. Tricia Culp and the Toledo Rockets are going to host the University of Michigan and Kim Barnes-Arico tonight, a 5 o'clock tip-off on the CBS Sports Network. We'll talk to the coach about the upcoming matchup next year, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining us now. The head coach of the Toledo Rockets women's basketball team, as they are welcoming in the University of Michigan Wednesday evening inside Savage Arena. My good friend, the head coach, Tricia Cullop. Coach Cullop, first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to join us. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Hey, everything's good. We just got done with practice and everything. Our players are progressing. That we've had so far has helped us get a lot better and learn a lot about ourselves, which is kind of what we had hoped it would do.
You know, your team, coming off of a season last year, the 22-23 campaign, 29-5. The year previously, 29-6. You win the MAC in back-to-back seasons. What has been the key? I mean, you've been at Toledo now for 16 seasons, roughly, give or take, if my math is correct. What's been the key to you to build such a sustained winner so that now you are the winningest coach in program history?
Well, first you got to have a great staff, and I really like the staff that I have. Obviously, some of those faces have changed through the years, and I've just been really fortunate to have tremendous people working with me. But also, you got to have talented players. I mean, coaches don't win games by themselves. And, we really just prepare people. But I do think that we've been really lucky. I've coached a lot of amazing players. To have a chance to coach a kid that scored 2,000 points, and Quenisha Lockett, who's still counting. She's just been a joy. And then to have a point guard like Sophia Wired, who's been here, I laugh and tease them. I feel like they've been here longer than what they have. But it's such a luxury because of COVID to have them that extra year. And to have some continuity and to have some experience to go against some of these high-level teams. If you're a mid-major team that has experienced perimeter players and post players, you've got a chance.
When you mention some of the staff turnover, Kim Barnes-Arico at the University of Michigan and all coaches, men's and women's, even in the football side, we see this happen so often. How do you go about that hiring process, because it's one of those bittersweet things, right? I mean, you want your coaching tree to expand. You want to be able to see your assistants go on to be head coaches at different programs, and it only bodes well for you personally. But then when you have to go through that hiring process and kind of reload and revamp and, make sure that your standard is held across the board, it seems like it's a really difficult task for college coaches across the board that nobody really talks about.
Well, first of all, I think it speaks well for our program that Tony Green is at Baylor and is doing very, very well. It speaks well for our program that Mark Stevens has gone on to be the recruiting coordinator at Purdue. Hopefully, when people see where my assistants are going, it helps me recruit really good assistant coaches because they know that out of this job, they can get a great job. And I think Toledo's a great job. But I think people know that they're well prepared coming from this program. And so we've been really blessed to have some talented people. But, beyond the X and O's and all that, I'll be honest, there's got to be a high character person. And I want somebody who I can trust, who is great with our players, because as you know, head coaches are gone recruiting a lot. And, we're not always in the office as much as we'd like to be because of all the other things pulling at us. So you've got to have a great staff that, is going to take care of things that players trust. It's going to be a great teacher. But also, I think the number one quality is just be a great human. Be somebody that we all enjoy your energy, that you're very knowledgeable, but you're also somebody that makes us better. I don't want somebody that knows everything I know. I want somebody that knows some areas that I don't know, whether it be recruiting or parts of the game that can make us better and challenge us. When you've got a really talented staff around you, it just really stretches that comfort zone and it makes everyone better.
Coach Cullop, you guys have had quite a break now. You played on Saturday, the 25th, a win against North Dakota State. Now you don't have a game until, Wednesday up against Michigan as you welcome them to Toledo. It's a 5:00 tip-off, by the way, on CBS Sports Network. So if you can't get to the actual arena itself, you can always tune in on the television. We love nationally televised games. But what does a break like this early in the season, what does it do for you coming out of that San Diego Classic?
Well, coming out of that and being in a different time zone, I think we needed some rest when we got back. And even just to kind of get our feet wet back on campus and get some extra shooting in, obviously address some things that happened out there that we wanted to see improve, and really study Michigan because they're different than some of the teams that we play. So, I'm just really happy that we've had a chance to get back home and rest, because those two trips out west, when you're changing time zones and you've got lengthy travel, they take a lot out of you. And, I'm glad that we had a little bit of a stretch, but I'll be honest, I think we're probably going to put some game-like situations in practice so that we don't lose our edge, because that's sometimes something that you worry about when you have a long layoff.
Now, you guys have played James Madison, which, if anybody has been tuned in, James Madison, the run that they're on from an athletic department standpoint is simply sensational. They were looking to win their own conference, and then all of a sudden they couldn't because of something with the NCAA, because their football team had just been in there. So football, they were on a run. We run into the Dukes in men's basketball for our listeners all across the state. Yeah, that James Madison, the same one that went to Michigan State and picked up a W there. You played Gonzaga. You played Cincinnati. Now you're going to play Michigan. You've got Duke coming up in the middle of December. How is it that you're able to go about getting these games on the schedule with these name brand teams? Because that's not always easy as a mid-major program, especially a mid-major program that's had as much success as you guys have had.
Well, it's hard to get them at home, and we've been really fortunate because we found some head coaches that not only believe in growing the game, but like putting their teams in tough environments. Years ago, it was Muffet that was not afraid to do that at Notre Dame. And, that was great for our program to go against a team that was the eventual national champion. And I thought until the middle of the fourth quarter, we did a pretty good job. But then, to have Sarah Lawson last year say, hey, I'd like to start at Toledo. When we have a high-profile program say, hey, we'll come to Toledo, usually the answer is yes, it's coming out of our mouth before they hang up because we really want to get those games. It's hard to get games in Savage because we're top 30 in the country in attendance 10 out of the last 11 years. We were 24th in the country at attendance last year, and then our winning percentage at home is very strong. So, it's hard to get people to say yes, but I do appreciate the coaches that understand that developing their team means putting them in a tough environment. Not everybody's willing to do that, but Jessie Ivy's worked really hard, and she's burned a lot of phone lines trying to find the right people to say yes. And, we're just really happy that we get these opportunities. I'm glad Michigan said yes. We've had a lot of Big Ten teams shy away that won't play us. And so we really, really appreciate this opportunity. I think it's great for basketball in this region.
In last year when you traveled up to Ann Arbor, everybody was asking me, what do you think about this game? And I said, well, Michigan's in trouble. And everybody kind of looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, wait till you see the guards. And I was like, they have a big post player on their bench right now that's going to be, available to go, next season when she gets healthy. Like Michigan is going to be in trouble. And then you guys went up there on the road to Chrysler Center, picked up a massive win, didn't even get a whistle the entire game. It was pretty incredible. So when you look at now returning, people still looking at me. I'm like, yeah, they return everybody. Like, yeah, it's going to be, Michigan's in for a whale of a game. I'm getting criticized by our own Toledo fans. They're coming after me because I'm not enthused. God bless Al Tomlinson for standing up for me, trying to explain to the people. I had to tell a group of Michigan fans at a chalk talk, like, look, this is what happened last year when Toledo came up here. When all of you travel down to Savage Arena, the same thing's going to happen. I am on Toledo's payroll. A lot of excitement for the Midnight Blue and Gold versus the Maize and Blue, so try not to write me any hate mail here. When you look at this Michigan team coming in, what do you see as maybe the key differences from last year's team that you faced to this year's team that you're scouting?
I think they're improved. I think they're deeper. I think Taylor Williams, coming from Western Michigan, has helped them. See if they're leading rebounder right now. I think Layla Filia, everybody knows how good she is, but I think the pieces around her have helped them. She's, Taylor's so athletic. But the thing I noticed in watching them even last night is how deep they are. I mean, Kim is subbing pretty liberally and not losing a whole lot every time she subs. For a kid that's as talented as Elise Brett, to not get much playing time in a 40-point blowout tells me how talented they are. And to see them shoot the three so well, I think that's probably one of the biggest differences. To see Hobbs knocking him down and to see the young Posted Crockett that can play the three or the four from Indianapolis knocking him down. I just think they've got a variety of kids, but they're so big. I looked at the lineup and I think of the kids who play the most, there's only one kid that's not above 6 foot. So I think taking care of the basketball, they like to hedge and trap ball screens. So, and they get in the passing lanes a lot. I think we've got to do a good job of taking care of the basketball. We're going to have to block out because they're bigger than us. And then, when they do give us open shots, we got to knock them down. I thought when we played at Michigan last year, we shot the ball well. And you have to in order to stay with them because they've got a lot of kids who can shoot.
You know, Coach Culp, you've got an incredible guard there in Quenisha Lockett, and she's getting a lot of attention. You know, the trophy case is getting full over there. Where do you kind of place her in the guards that you have coached? And you've had some good ones.
She's one of the top two that I've ever coached. And I wouldn't say one's better than the other one. I would just say in the history of me coaching, I think she and Nama Shafir are probably the best two I've ever coached. And they're very different. You know, Nama was the point guard, and obviously Quenisha Lockett's more of a wing. But, you know, she can score at all three levels. You know, she's a great defender. And, boy, catch her in transition. She's so fast. But she's also just a fun player to coach. I don't know. I could probably count on one hand, maybe two fingers, in all my years I've coached this kid, how many bad days she's had. She just brings joy to everybody around her. She's a great teammate. And it's fun to see her get all these accolades. And she'll be the first one to tell you, well, my teammates helped me. And if it wasn't for them, you know, she's just very unselfish, very grateful. She's keeping the right now, so she's not worried about all that stuff. She just wants to win basketball games. And I just really appreciate her approach and how hard she's worked to get better. You know, when I left practice just a few minutes ago, she was still putting up shots. And she was there early putting up shots. And that's what it takes to be great.
She is the 5-time Mid-American Conference Coach of the Year. Her name is Tricia Cullop. You're going to find her in action. Nationally televised game, CBS Sports Network on Wednesday as the Michigan Wolverines travel to Savage Arena to take on the Toledo Rockets. At least the color scheme's really easy for everybody to get on board with. CBS Sports Network has the broadcast at 5 o'clock. As always, Coach Cullop, my friend, thank you so much for your time today, partner. We greatly appreciate you, and best of luck on Wednesday. We'll see you there.
Hey, thank you, and Rocket fans, please wear white.
You heard her. If you're going down to the game as a Toledo fan, you wear white. Yeah, I assume that if you're a Michigan fan, you just wear Michigan gear because it's a lot of blue and a lot of gold, and that's will be taking place there later on this evening. 5 o'clock tip-off. Good. I'm happy about that. After last night's 9 o'clock tip-off at the University of Michigan to watch my beloved Wolverines fall to the Indiana Hoosiers, right, in the second leg, if you will. After Michigan State fell at the Breslin to Wisconsin. I mean, my goodness, what a bad day that was for a Tuesday. But, you know, as we mentioned, at least we had the Detroit Red Wings to pick up a little bit of the slack. All right, coming up in hour number 3 is a couple of topics that we're going to get to. Aleem McNeil headed to injured reserve. That is not good. A flurry of roster moves have been made now by the Detroit Lions to get everybody, you know, get things intact. You know, Bruce Irvin being added on the opposite side of Hutch, you know, and Coach had said multiple times after, you know, he's got a little in the tank. We're gonna find out, and we definitely did. Even though he played limited snaps, to be able to get to the quarterback and bring down Derek Carr is good because, you know, if you can pressure the quarterback, especially if you can pressure him with 4, you're gonna have a really good day at the office. So we'll see if Bruce Irvin will get a little bit more if they try to bring in their, you know, that NASCAR package we talked about so much last year. But they definitely got to have some beef and cheese in the middle. Somebody has got to be in those A-gaps, manning up. So we'll get to Aleem McNeil going to the IR, plus a new proposal for the NCAA that I understand what and why they are doing it, but that doesn't mean that I believe it's the right way to go. And people get all in a tizzy about my thoughts on football. Right, and the fact that I honestly believe, I think you take the scholarships away in college football. You do away with the scholarship, you know, kids can attend their classes, and then that way we can have a little bit of differentiation there between the program itself and the actual scholastic arm. And then by taking away the scholarship, making football players team employees, setting a salary cap, you would need a union, you would need to collectively bargain. And that way, you know, the revenue is the revenue. And people get all bent out of shape when I say that. I don't know why. I'm not telling anybody not to support something. That's not what I'm saying. But you got to be a realist, right? And when you enter the real world coming out of college, as the CEO of Danny's Fine Foods, Doug Meyer is not writing you a check to share revenue from the food industry. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. And so what it comes down to is you have these networks paying all this money to televise college football games. Keep the money where it's at. But we have to figure out a way to level that playing field, or we have to separate Power 5 and Group of 5. I don't want it to be like that because I've spent a majority of my life in my professional career working in the Group of 5, working in the Mid-American Conference, from Bowling Green to Toledo. You know, it is, you know, you look at a program like Toledo women's basketball, for example. You know, Coach Culp had just mentioned it. You know, they're constantly top 30 in the nation in attendance. Like, it matters. You got to build a program, and it's hard to do. And some people say, well, you play golf. Yes. Did you play college golf? No. Should I have, you know, put more effort into it? Probably, but, you know, neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. It's water under the bridge. I play for fun now. But what would happen to the golf program? I mean, look, do you need to go to Arizona and California and to Florida for all these invitationals throughout the year, or can you do something that makes a little bit more sense? A little bit more sense. I don't think we need to be going out to California for a month playing baseball and softball. That's just me. I feel like it's an egregious waste of funds, especially when it's not even your program earning the money to fund that. Right? What happens when we take a whole bunch of earnings and then we disperse it equally amongst the people? What kind of economic system is that referred to as? Everybody gets the same, even though some are earning way more and have a way more important monetary product than everybody else. What's that called? Socialism, right? It's communism. That's what that is. And I said that yesterday. It got people all, you know, up in arms over the fact that I called it what it is. Like, that's what that economic system is. You know, well, it shouldn't be a business. It is a business. Whether it should or shouldn't be, that's a moot point. It doesn't matter. Here's the money that's being generated by this sport. And now with the NCAA's new proposal, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts of this whole thing coming up in hour number 3. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, you have to have a salary cap to level the playing field. You should only be able to be allowed to spend so much money on players in this pay-for-play era disguised as name, image, and likeness. It's not name, image, and likeness. That's the last that it is. We have these NIL collectives, and sure, some people are going about it the right way, and that's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, we all know, you know, the kid from Miami, the 5-star recruit that flipped from Ohio State, you know, they literally put stacks of $100 bills in the graphic of his announcement. They put a pile of cash on the sand in the graphic of him going to Miami. Like, that's not what college athletics was supposed to be. It's not. But the reality of the situation is everybody wants. If that's what, this is what everybody wants. You've already opened up Pandora's box. Now you got to try to put your reins on it. You got to try to reel it back in. And that's just going to be, you know, I don't know how you get the toothpaste back in the tube at this point. I feel like I have some solutions, but everyone's like, well, it's unheard of litigation. Yeah, of course it's unheard of. The whole model is changing before our eyes in real time. We'll step aside. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Deck your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa Bucks will save you plenty.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all!
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get your groove on. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Robin Thicke. Same show, same night, Montel Jordan. Tickets start at $53. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Party hard. Slide into smooth. Robin Thicke and Montel Jordan. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade, This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
For goodness sake, wear your seatbelt. Better yet, for your family's sake, your friend's sake, for your own sake, buckle up. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police knows that seatbelts save lives. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police sees firsthand what happens when seatbelts aren't used. We want Michigan to be the leader in seatbelt use. We want everyone in Michigan to get home safely. For everyone's sake, buckle up every time.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000 or dial us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. 866-838-HUGE. We've got Freddie on the line, wants to talk a little college football playoff and Red Wings, or New York Scott that wants to talk college deals. Where are we going first, Ben Glaze?
Freddie.
Freddie. All right. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up, baby? I'll be quick.
What's going on? Anything good?
Just don't interrupt. How are you?
I'm good. I would be better if your phone reception was better, but you might be in that little stretch right now.
I'm on 275 next to the dump, stuck in traffic. Which
Oh, woof.
Soul Foods is going to be waiting for me, and I'm working to take off. So, Soulful Foods, if you're listening, please don't leave. I'll be there. Hey, you never know with Soulful Foods, they might be listening because AB is a legend there in Toledo. So
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, real quick. Now, one thing overlooked I wanted to bring up with the Red Wings is, the Patrick Kane signing obviously was a good signing. If it works out, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think, Yzerman said at the end of last year, I can't remember when he said it, but he did say, listen, this team is not ready. We're not, we shouldn't be thinking playoffs right now. Just to paraphrase some of the things. And I know it upset a lot of people, but what he said last week was, hey, we got a guy like this. And he started talking about playoffs. I like that. So, obviously, with the good start being third in the Atlantic, they're starting to think playoffs. That's a good thing, right? That's positive. So you like to hear that. You never know. They could be the next team that wins a playoff game. We've been asking this question for the last 5-6 years. Who wins the next playoff game in this town? It could be the Red Wings. You never know. We always say we thought it was the Lions 3 weeks ago, right? And then I was always convinced it was going to be the Tigers. And now it could be the Red Wings. So, who knows? We do know one thing. It won't be the Pistons. That's for sure.
Oh, woof.
No. Where are you going there, buddy? I got to get through. Come on now. It's not my fault.
You got a little road rage there, Freddie. You getting a little out of hand? He can't hear you. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know he can't hear me. But anyways, so the college football thing now, this is not my idea. This is J.J. Watt's idea. You saw it on Twitter. Why couldn't college football this week played Georgia versus Florida State and Ohio State versus who's the other team that was I don't know who else, whoever was there. Why couldn't they play and find out who the Final Four would have been? Well, what would be, Michigan being 1, Washington being 2, right? So why not let Texas play Ohio State and Georgia play Florida State, and then the two winners, and they camp up the Final Four? Would there be something wrong with that? I thought it was a great idea by J.J. Watt.
What do you mean, like expand the playoff?
No, like this year, Florida State got screwed. Okay, there's no bottom line. They got screwed. Okay, I mean, you see so many talking heads and guys are turning the mic saying blah blah blah. Florida State getting screwed. They're so wrong.
Dan Orlovsky did it yesterday. I couldn't believe it. Dan O did that yesterday.
Oh, Dan Orlovsky, please don't. He's not even credible. I'm sorry, he's just not even a credible source. But anyways, credible for he's just not. He's just a fanboy. Is all he is. But how do you walk into a locker room and tell a team is 13-0 that you're not, or 12-0, whatever they are, you're not going to the playoff? It's just so. I mean, they should have. An easy fix would have been 1 and 2 is there, then Texas and the 3 through 6 should have played this weekend, and the top 2 winners get into that Final Four. It would have been fair and square and decided on the field. That's just kind of what I was thinking. So, anyways, Scott's on the line, and let him get his time because I know he wants to talk Tommy DeVito and cannolis and all that stuff. So, talk to you later.
All right, there you go. Yeah, we can't just make it up as we go along though and be like, hey, you guys play for the final spots. Like it's just all Watt's saying is expanded college football playoff. New York Scott, what's going on this morning? How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up, brother? I thought, Freddie was going to chew up the whole block. So thank you, Freddie, for making it brief like you said you would. I appreciate you, brother. No, I was talking to the deals in college. I mean, we got to remember, Bellino, yes, I'm as fed up with it as you are, but they were put into place because half the big teams schools were doing this anyways. They were doing it under the table. Everyone's getting a car. Mom's house mortgage getting paid by the school. They were doing all the shady stuff behind the scenes. So this was just putting it out in the open and saying, hey, look, we've been paying for players. Now everybody can if you have a program that has a couple bucks. So am I fed up with it? Is it too far? Do we need to figure out a middle ground? Sure. Was it happening for 20 years? Yes. Right? So that's kind of my take on that side of it. But the more interesting thing I'm looking at, man, the Packers, who if you have home field, say the Lions get the home field, if the Packers are winning, they obviously just embarrassed you at home on Thanksgiving. Is that a team you don't want to see as the first home game in Ford Field there? Is that a scary opponent being a divisional game, possibly having them come back to the house and as a revenge game? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it's either Green Bay or it's Minnesota right now, the way that it's shaken out. We got a few weeks to play. But I'm good with either one. I mean, honestly, once you get into the playoffs, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not scared of anybody. I mean, you got to play a 17-week season. This is the Detroit Lions turning the football over 3 times in a football game and losing by 7 points. Like I don't foresee that happening again. I would expect them to be able to block Rashawn Gary the next time around. I mean, it's that was an absolute disaster. You look at what we did to them in the first half of that game earlier in the season on the road at Lambeau. Like, yeah, I'm not worried about the Packers. That was one bad day. Day. Quick turnaround on a Thursday. I ain't worried about it. They're playing nice right now. Good for them.
Yeah, LaFleur had that look in his eyes, like he got so embarrassed at home. There was no way he was not leaving without a W at that game. And I think, you remember back to that Green Bay game at Lambeau. I mean, Campbell kept sticking it to him, right? Kept throwing it like you're ahead. You're just bullying him at that point. So I think there was a little bit going into that game that people are leaving out. Like these guys are really hungry to kind of have that steak at your house and hey, you really embarrassed us. Last thing before I let you go, but I just picked up, I got to take a small shot at Paul. Love that guy. He calls in. He's a Michigan alum guy. But when you say Georgia and Michigan are NFL teams, like you've lost all credibility. If you play Georgia against the New England Patriots or the Giants, they lose 86-0, and there's probably 16 injuries.
I literally was just talking about this yesterday with my buddy Gian. Do you think that a college team could get the ball over the 50?
No, not even no.
I said the same thing. Not a chance.
Not a chance on God's green earth that happens. There's a reason why there's probably going to be about 6 Michigan players drafted and a couple undrafted free agents. out of a 105-man roster.
Yeah,
They are
there's no
not
way.
an
Scott,
NFL
we got to hit the break, unfortunately. I love this conversation. Let's talk soon. Call back soon. Love you too. All right, bye-bye. We'll be back with more.
It's time to go in the huddle. 1, 2, 3, top flight.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The Maize and Blue have done it again. For the 45th time in program history, Michigan has won the Big Ten championship as they house the Iowa Hawkeyes 26-0. Senior running back Blake Corum became Michigan's all-time leader in touchdowns scored, scoring twice in that ball game. And he finished with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and is the only FBS player to score a touchdown in each game this season. Mike Sainer still took home the game's MVP honors as Michigan went a total of 68-3 in the two meetings against the Hawkeyes in the championship game in Indy. As the league division era comes to a close, the Big Ten West went 0-10 in the title game. Head coach Jim Harbaugh just has one question for you.
I got one question for you, Michigan Nation. Who's got it better than us? Buddy.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer spiral sliced ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in-store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
You know, in the NBA, the game could change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub, and best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable. With 24/7 support, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE. New customers, bet 150. Pardon me, bet 5, get 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just 5. Easy for me to say. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. A little drama there in the NBA last night in that Suns-Lakers game. Quarterfinal matchup. The Bucks beat the Knicks 146-122. The Lakers topped the Suns. Controversial timeout, no timeout call there at the end, 106-103. Lakers will advance. The Milwaukee Bucks will advance. And what a game it was for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh, my goodness. 35 points on 15 of 22 shooting, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals. Dude was simply sensational. They got 28 from Dame. My goodness. Chris Middleton back in action. Good to see him. Still have questions a little bit about their bench. Just think they gave up a lot. Malik Beasley out there running around up and down the court. A little cardio in. Giving him 18 in 33 minutes. That was nice. And so Milwaukee and the LA Lakers advance for the NBA's in-season tournament, which by itself we're going to see on the 9th. On the 9th, that'll be the semifinals coming up. Very excited. I actually am very excited about that. Actually, it's Thursday the 7th is going to be the semifinals. And then Saturday the 9th is the finals. So we go to Vegas, Pacers-Bucks at 5, followed by Pelicans-Lakers. That Pacers-Bucks game is going to be nuts. All right, we've got an injury update now coming out of Allen Park. The Detroit Lions making several roster moves yesterday. Defensive tackle Lee McNeil has been placed on injured reserve. So now they have an open spot on the 53. The Lions signed a corner by the name of Kendall Vildor out of their practice squad. Additionally, they released Raymond Johnson from the practice squad, opening 2 spots there, which they're filling by signing defensive tackle Tyson Alualu and offensive lineman, I think it's Matt Farniak, maybe? Farnois? I can't tell you anything about the offensive lineman, but McNeil, in the midst of his best NFL season, on the field for about 70% of the Lions snaps, primary interior defensive lineman. So he will now miss 4 weeks of the regular season, be eligible to return to the roster in Week 18. So that's kind of the nice thing about the injured reserve, the way that they rework that, where basically if you go on IR, you miss a month. But his knee injury is allegedly just a sprain, and hopefully get him back for the end of the season. Potential playoff run. So on the interior of that D-line, you still have Benito Jones, Onwuzurike, Buggs, and Broderick Martin, Quinton Bohanna, and now Tyson Alualu. You know, it's look. I mean, they had to address it. You know, Alualu, who is 36 years old, hasn't played in roughly a year. You know, we'll see, but just adding a little bit of depth there, I'm okay with that. I'm more or less just it's unfortunate that happened to Lee McNeil because it's things are, and I'm not necessarily giving up those third down conversions, big time third down conversions. The Lions defense really wasn't that horrendous. And as for New York Scott trying to peddle this panic about, oh, you don't want to see Green Bay, I knew what you were doing there. It's 14-6, so you miss the extra point when you get the football back. You fumble the football, scoop and score, makes it 20-6, then you fumbled again. Right now, luckily, you were able to turn the Green Bay Packers over on downs, then you fumbled later on in the game. So you had 2 possessions where maybe you put points on the board. Let's just say maybe you get in field goal range. There's 6 points right there. And if you don't fumble and that doesn't, get returned for a touchdown, take 7 off the board there, based on my math, the Lions win 108-0. No, I'm teasing. But in all seriousness, they gave that game to the Green Bay Packers. And the same thing that Detroit did to Green Bay in that first quarter, Green Bay returned the favor. You take care of the football, good things will happen. Same with the Saints game. I mean, look at the Saints. Defense comes up big. Offense marches right down the field, puts a score on the board. Brian Branch comes up with that huge interception. Boom, there's another touchdown. You get a stop, and then boom, another touchdown. It's like, okay, well, you build a lead like that, it's only natural that with that kind of lead, the other team is going to figure some things out. But I really do, coming off the heels of Sam Laporta's career day against the Saints, I really do feel confident in this team, and I do believe that they will address, because at the end of the day, we know that Hutch is a franchise piece. We know that. Jack Campbell plays his best game as a professional just about at his normal spot at the Mike linebacker. Right? That's where he needs to be, middle linebacker. That's his, and Alex Anzalone, who, hurts his hand and has his wife give birth the same weekend. That's kind of a lot going on. Great time to miss the game, though. I mean, I'd rather have him miss the game and him be hurt and miss the game than him be out there, and not be able to play in the game just because he's hurt. Like, his wife had a kid, so that's totally fine, too. I'm good with that. That makes it a little bit easier to stomach that he'll be back to full strength sooner rather than later. But I just, the roster moves that they made with the Lee McNeil, they're just trying to fill the void. Basically, what they're going to need is Buggs, Broderick Martin, Levi Onwuzurike. Like, these guys have to be able to get in there and be able to produce. Frank Ragnow left the game in the second quarter with a knee injury. Dan Campbell said, I feel like more than anything, we got good news. That doesn't mean he's going to be available this week. But the initial concern was for a far more serious injury, things looking optimistic. And they didn't place Ragnow on IR. So that is huge. And for the job that Graham Glasgow has done, basically being the Swiss Army knife of the offensive line, as always, what was my big question going into this season? It was, how many games can this unit play together? They made it a half before Hal Vaitai went down. Then you insert Graham Glasgow. You've had Jonah Jackson in and out of the lineup. You've had Taylor Decker missing some time. So the guys have been, I thought, the offensive line outside of the Green Bay game and the Baltimore game. And look, this is the NFL. Like, they all have pros on the other side of the football. Every week is its own individual challenge, regardless of what that other team's record is. For me personally, if you can rest Ragnow, if it's not do or die against the Bears. And when you're thinking about this current stretch coming down the end of the season where you got 6 games left and 4 of the 6 are on the road, you pick up that first win. Now you're 3 road games and 2 home games. You could beat the Bears this weekend in the Windy City at 1 o'clock. If you could beat Chicago this weekend, then you got 2 at home, 2 on the road. You feel a lot better before the Denver Broncos come in at 8:15 on Saturday, December 16th. So that's, kind of where we stand right now, the injury report for the Detroit Lions. Defensively, we just given up too many big chunk plays, and it kind of felt like the Saints were getting away with more than, the first time around than in the second time, watching the game. And you think about some of the third down conversions that they had, and it was like, okay, you have to be able to get off the field in third down. And then it's not even a 5-point game. You don't have to worry about it. But very, very pleased with the overall offensive production from this team. I know Goff didn't, they had a shortened field after the Branch interception. So he goes for 213, 2 touchdowns, no picks, was only sacked once. He was 16 of 25. Some big-time passes that he made. Montgomery and Gibbs, combined to go over 110 yards on the ground. That's a great number. And they did that on 26 carries. So I'm happy with the way that things worked out here for the Detroit Lions. And a Brock Wright as well, getting a catch. So We'll step aside. We'll come back. A new plan for college sports. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Doesn't that sound nice? Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable with 24/7 support. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. All right. Story came out yesterday. Join the show. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Or call us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. The NCAA is proposing a new college athletics subdivision directed in athlete compensation. So NCAA new president Charlie Baker is planning to introduce this week a proposal to create a new subdivision within Division I that grants certain schools more autonomy around policymaking and will permit them to compensate their athletes in this new way. So this letter was sent out, and Baker outlines this radical change to, quote, new forward-looking framework. According to this proposal, schools that choose to be a part of this new subdivision, they can opt in or out, are required to meet a strict minimum standard rooted in athlete investment. By the way, you can read all of this at Yahoo Sports. Members of this new subdivision can strike NIL deals with their own athletes. My eyes can't roll back in my head hard enough, but here we go. The new model in this framework is schools can directly compensate athletes through a trust fund. Schools within the new subdivision will be required to distribute athletes thousands of dollars in additional educationally related funds without limitation. There is no cap to the amount of funds that a program can provide an athlete. Quote, it kickstarts a long overdue conversation among the membership that focuses on the difference that exists between schools, conferences, and divisions, and how to create a more permissive and flexible rule across the sport that puts student athletes first. Colleges and universities need to be more flexible, and the NCAA needs to be more flexible too. How this will work is a disaster. After taking over from Mark Emmert, in March. Entry into the subdivision will require a school to invest at minimum $30,000 per year per athlete into what is termed an enhanced educational trust fund for at least half of the school's countable athletes. Schools would determine when athletes receive the amount, which for four-year athletes will total at least $120,000. Schools must continue to abide by the framework of Title IX, assuring that 50% of the investment be directed towards women athletes. The new subdivision will remain under the umbrella of the NCAA, and its members will continue to compete for NCAA championships with others in Division I. Under the proposal, the NCAA maintains oversight of the existing national championship model across all Division I sports, except, obviously, football, which continues to operate under the college football playoff. Now, the trust fund idea. Where have you heard that before? This program right here. I've been saying this for God knows how long. There are 133 FBS programs, 69 in the Power 5. Schools sponsor a number of different sports, some as few as 18, others as many as 35. Athlete populations range by institution, but you're looking at 350 to 400 athletes on some portion of a scholarship, right? And obviously, if you know anything about college baseball, you know they do like quarter scholarships and half scholarships. They split that thing up so that they can fill out their roster. A school depositing the minimum $30,000 each year per athlete for half of their athletes would spend about $6 million a year. Okay. Now, this model is introduced as the NCAA and major conference schools are in the midst of settlement negotiations over what could be one of the most costly and impactful antitrust cases in college sports history. It's the House versus the NCAA seeking as much as $3 billion in retroactive NIL and broadcasting revenue payments. You could get rid of all of this if people would just listen. And that's the problem I ran into on Twitter yesterday. Of course, because it's Twitter. Right? The minute I bring this up is the minute all of this spirals into I'm like the antichrist of college sports. I want college sports, and I've always maintained this. I am a traditionalist. I don't think that you are professional athletes. If you are professional athletes, somebody will draft you and you will play professionally. I don't feel bad for those that try to go pro that don't make it. I don't feel bad for those that try to go pro in a sport that isn't sellable. Period. If you have a product, let's say, for example, we got a brand, we're going to come together on this program, all 100,000 plus of us listening right now. We're going to come together on this program, and we're going to develop an idea. And we're going to take that idea, and let's say, for instance, there was a program on television that would hear about our idea, and they would tell us whether or not they were going to invest in said idea. And let's say in our make-believe figurative television show, we get somebody like, I don't know, Mark Cuban to host this show for us, right? You see where I'm going with this? You've all seen Shark Tank. There are some people that come up with some great ideas. You're like, wow, I got to have that immediately. What's the most recent best idea that you've seen? Right? I don't know. I'm trying to come up with products on the fly right now. Some products, let's say, for example, you invent a microwave. That's going to sell. A microwave is going to sell. That is a product that people are going to have in their homes, right? That was the thing about the whole, a couple of years ago, what had taken place with the global pandemic. A lot of industries suffered. The entertainment industry got just demolished, right? Streaming goes up because everybody's stuck at home. But what's the film industry do, right? Demolished. Hollywood, smoked. Fine and dandy. You don't need it. Right? So when we all trapped in our homes, we all came to the conclusion of wants versus needs. And through all the economic hardship that we all went through throughout that time, collectively, it's like, what do we have to have? What do we need to have? And what do we want to have? What are necessities versus luxuries? Right? And think about this in your own home, your own framework. What do you absolutely need to have? A stove and oven, check. A refrigerator, check. Probably comes with a freezer. You have to be able to turn your lights on. You have to have power. And to this point, in this day and age, you have to have internet as well. Right? And internet has become a necessity for the way that we live our lives in the year of our Lord 2023. Okay. What didn't you need? Think about that in your own home. Okay? So what you're telling me right now to this here, the NCAA could have done away with this years ago, right? And the way, in my opinion, that you get around this and you move forward with this is that you begin to take a look at the value of the contracts in what are networks specifically paying for. You have to divvy up the rights. This is why NCAA leadership has just been an absolute, because you're trying to do too many things, right? Sure, it's all encompassing in the quote student athlete experience, right? If I got to hear that one more time from an administrator, I'm going to run my head into the wall. That's what it might have been in 1970, right? Things have changed with the development of television. Some of you are old enough to remember where you had to, like I, walk up and turn the dial on the television. That changed a little bit. And then for people in our demographic, do you remember when you got that brand new Nintendo or that Sega Genesis that you had always wanted for Christmas? Oh, I remember. I remember the TV that sat on the floor. There was no such thing as a TV stand for a television that weighed 800 pounds. But it was the old TV that used to be in the living room that got moved to a different room, and you had to flip the thing on the side of the TV, but it got to channel 3. And you'd get to channel 3, and you'd go in the cartridge, and you'd put the cartridge in, you'd get to channel 3, you had all the different adapters to make this thing work, and boom, Sega. You remember this. I remember this. Super Mario Brothers, Atari, Pac-Man. We remember this. Things have changed. Now, you go to the store to pick up a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, whatever the hell they're on, and you need a power cord and HDMI. You flip your input on the television from your remote. Boom, it's there. You connect your console to the internet, and you can play with people in Japan, for God's sakes. Things have changed. We have evolved. The one thing the NCAA never did is they are trying to run a business that from an economic standpoint is socialism, is what it is. You have this team over here in a college athletic department. We'll go down to the bare bones, 18 sports. And you have 85 scholarships for football. I had a conversation with somebody in the grocery store about this. They were asking about the Toledo Rockets and not having a varsity hockey team. He's like, well, they have an arena. I was like, yeah, but the expense of this. He's like, but Bowling Green has it. I'm like, but the expense of this. You're not going to have a MAC team create a hockey program because now you need, 30 scholarships? Now you have to have, what other women's sport are you going to come up with that's going to equate to that 30 scholarships? It's not as cut and dry as let's have a team. Let's raise some funds. Boom, done. Who's going to pay for this? It's expensive. If one sport is bringing in, literally, go down the list of athletic departments across America, there are a very small percentage that work in a net positive. Very small percentage. Your Texases of the world, your Michigans of the world, Ohio State. Why is that? The Mid-American Conference didn't strike a deal with ESPN to purely televise college baseball and college volleyball. It's just a throw-in. You add it in there in the package. You can put it on ESPN Plus. Maybe they get some more subscribers out of it, whatever. It works for the actual university itself because now you have these broadcast and communications departments within the athletic realm in which students get real-world application. Right? That's the one thing. I went to school. My real world application came from a student run organization. That's what it was. That's where I cut my teeth. Our actual program, I would love to go back and just redo the whole thing because you need actual reps in real time. The school that I am now employed by, the University of Toledo, has an incredible communications department where you literally can get on a camera and be a camera operator almost immediately. You can work in television production almost immediately, especially in sports if you want to do that. So there's a little bit of the academic side of it, right? The athletic side of it is this. You have a business idea, back to our Shark Tank conversation. Your idea, Mark Cuban might say, I want it, we're doing it, let's go. You have a product that they believe in that is sellable, that's going to generate revenue. If you go to Shark Tank with your idea and nobody wants it, then you have to go home and come up with a better idea. You don't have a sellable product. That takes us to the global pandemic in my example of what do you want to have and what do you need to have, right? I know that college sports is not supposed to be a business. And in the 1960s, it wasn't. Do I wish that it was now? Absolutely not. I, for one, think that there's value in walking away from school debt-free. I'm sorry that the rest of everybody else doesn't believe that to be true. I, for one, believe that there's value in every single free meal that you get provided by the program. I, for one, feel that there is value in traveling to the Bahamas in November to go play basketball. I think there's value there. I'm sorry that nobody else does. But I come from a place where I did unpaid internships, and a lot of them. And it cost money. I come from a place where I started a radio show on a brokered agreement, which means I had to buy the time and then sell the ads myself because I believed in it. I lost money doing that. I worked another job to fund this side project that I would hope one day would become my career. That's the truth. You don't just walk out of school and because, hey, I got this degree, I'm going to make $100,000 a year. Life doesn't work like that. Do you have a skill? Do you have a product that can sell? Yes or no? What do people, this is the harsh reality of the world, that people want to put their gloves, their 16-ounce gloves on and go, oh, they want to just hit the heavy bag, right? You want to go into the gym and just hit the heavy bag. The bag doesn't hit back. In the real world, the bag is swinging back at you every day of the week. You have bills to pay. You have kids to feed. You have a marriage to maintain. You've got bosses that you have to keep happy. Life is hard. Nobody needs any of this. We pay for college football. We do. The college football player just needs to be an employee of the athletic department. The athletic department needs to find a way to separate itself. And most of them do. And somebody said, well, what about, your federal funding? Can't do that, illegal federal. I shouldn't, and this is a bigger conversation, but I should not have to pay tuition if we're federally funded. Stop that madness. Stop it right now. As a student, I shouldn't have to pay a fee for athletics. Period. Schools that do that, your attendance isn't that great. Like, it just is what it is. You have to have a sellable product. College football is that product. So if you take the college football players and you take the revenue generated from them, it's their work. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones that are funding this whole entire operation. ESPN signs a contract with a specific conference. That money is dispersed throughout the schools. That money's then dispersed throughout all the different athletic programs. Why? Track and field ain't bringing in the money, folks. Swimming ain't doing it. I always go back to men's golf. I love golf. You don't need to go on a trip to Arizona to play in a college golf tournament. I'm sorry. You're not generating any revenue. That's a loss. You know how much it takes to fly a golf team out to Arizona to put them up in a hotel and feed them 3 meals a day while they go play golf? Are you kidding me? More on this conversation at another date because we're out of time. The model just doesn't work. And don't be mad because you don't have a sellable product. Just is what it is. The harsh reality of reality. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Dad, your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa bucks will save you plenty. Fa la la la.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all.
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals